we're gonna talk about Buck real quick.
This is a good one,
and
actually.
What is Buck? I don't. So, what's it? Travis van der Zanden announced it this week. He has an interesting backstory with Lyft and Uber. People can go research as they want.
And Bird, he was the founder of Bird,
and he founded Bird.
He tried to cleanse from the internet.
So, and I saw some Bitcoiners like Predator shitting on it. So let me be clear, I'm not advocating Buck. The reason I found I found it interesting is because it literally was predicted on this show 5 months ago. It was when we were talking about Stretch, STRC, one of the equities from MicroStrategy, where they've created what we viewed as a stable coin, built on Bitcoin, though, not on US treasuries and like a reserve like that. And we talked about, maybe Robinhood could create the token or a third party. And well, guess what? That's exactly what Buck appears to be to me. It's built on top of Stretch, and it offers 7% yield. Stretch is paying, I don't know what it's paying now, but it was in the 9 to 10% range.
11% now.
11, yeah, he kicked it up to 11.
So there's a margin there. Now, one of the criticisms I saw from Predator, the Predator account, which I didn't go confirm, is that they're taking half the yield themselves.
Well, they're taking 4%.
Buck is. Yeah, well, it wasn't clear to me if it's just that spread or if they're taking even. Or I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, so I have no idea. Is this a scam or not a scam? I don't know. But it's assuming there's no like weird gotchas, then it is a form of what we thought could be created. And as long as there's not any like, scammy type aspects to it, I think it's an interesting thing. Because again, I assume it's not a pre-mine. I assume there's a lot of the things that we don't like about other tokens that are created. I don't think apply here.
Right.
It's more so assuming the total risk is the Stretch, the risk you're taking on with Stretch, and then you'd also be taking on some kind of risk with this new company around Buck. As long as it's limited to that risk, I think it's an interesting introduction.
So yeah, I agree. It's interesting, and I'm glad you brought it up. One thing I know, I did a little bit more research on it, and one thing I'll note is that it's not available to people in the US, and I think that's because there's been
theoretically
only US or ex-US or US?
Ex-US. You're in the US, you're not allowed to use it.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's because I think it violates all the recent stablecoin legislation. I think the recent stablecoin legislation was saying you cannot share yield with consumers, right? And for obvious reasons that's kind of a protectionist clause. And so they are sharing yield with consumers. And so they say no US, which I think is actually a real opportunity, is to like create stablecoins that do share yield of various forms with consumers, with the users of the coin. But I mean, that might not be enough to get it off the ground, but it doesn't support US users.
So I have a lot of thoughts on this. I think, again, if you kind of take your hat of just like see reality clearly and how it's going, I think this is exactly what we predicted. It's like, actually, it's all playing out exactly as it should and makes sense. So there was a podcast that I recommend listening to. I think I shared it in the group chat over the break. If you haven't checked it out, it was a recent Saylor interview on, I think it was on the Galaxy one. It was excellent.
Your advice. Yeah.
Absolutely excellent. And look, I mean,
he talks about that same thing, the Stretch as effectively a yielded stablecoin, right?
He literally asks people to do what this guy is doing. Yeah. And, you can have your own opinions on Saylor. And I know for like the hardcore Bitcoin people, it's like, whatever, he's doing something different than what you want. That's fine. Just again, zoom out. This is how you don't go from A to Z, you go to A to B, B to C. That's how reality works. And so what Saylor did, and I have to give him credit, regardless of what you think of him values, like he is so damn smart and so damn eloquent, and he can take very complex ideas and he can explain them beautifully. So the way he explains it is his vision of the world, his theory of change, or whatever you want to call it today, is Bitcoin is capital. Bitcoin is capital.
Bitcoin is money.
No. Critically, Bitcoin is capital, not money. This is an important point.
Oh yeah.
Bitcoin is capital. His company, MicroStrategy exists to be a refinery. They take capital, and just like, if you're a wildcatter in Texas, and you get this raw oil from the ground, great, that's a very valuable resource. But I can't just like take that and put it into my car, right? So his company exists to refine the raw capital into credit. And that's what Stretch is, and all of his different instruments he offers, right? And so what does it mean to offer credit? Well, you take capital and you package it. I even sound like soda. Capital. I package it. Like I even got the mannerism now.
That's really good. If I had my eyes closed, I would have thought, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been working on that?
Bitcoin is digital capital. Capital becomes credit.
How about this? How about this, Max?
Becomes money.
How about this? Have you seen those ones?
But I got to give the guy, Saylor, if you happen to listen to this ever, like I'm teasing you, but like respect, like this guy's playing 12D chess, right? So capital becomes credit. And so he offers different credit. He takes the raw oil. We should need Steve to do it, because I believe Steve was called out as a Saylor lookalike. No,
I was called that, but I don't do imitations.
Okay.
Steve's got the look. Max has got the voice.
So you take that, and what you do then is you take the raw resource and you package it in a way that the market can use, just in the way that you take oil and you package it in a way that the physical infrastructure in the world, the cars, can use. And so he has all these different products. Stretch is a very interesting product because it's targeting the U.S. Treasury, essentially. And what he's doing is, he over collateralizes an instrument with Bitcoin. And so if you believe, I forget if it's like 6x over collateralized or whatever it is, but if you believe, and you go back and listen to our comment on this 5 to 6 months ago, but if you believe that Bitcoin continues to grow at a CAGR of 20% or whatever, it's been 30% or even less than that, if you believe Bitcoin goes up over time, then he's radically over collateralized. Now he has the $2 billion in cash as well to keep making these payments. And he can give the market, people that want things like fixed income, investors that need to buy equities, all these different things that maybe are bullish on Bitcoin, believe in it at least enough to think it's going up 20% CAGR over the next decade. But they can't buy it directly, or they just want that, like, maybe they're retired and they want that sort of pension-like payment. Then this is a perfect opportunity for them. Now, what I missed when we talked about this last time was capital goes to credit. And then we discussed, and I think DK, maybe it was you that said maybe he makes the stablecoin. What he then said in this podcast was, I want another whole round of entrepreneurs to come and take credit and turn credit into money. And that's a big concept, because what he's saying is, this buck thing, who knows about this guy? Maybe it's a scam, maybe it's not, but it's just the first of many. And you're going to see a giant free market. Basically, you're going to see like free banking on steroids here. Anyone that can access that Stretch credit can now go and create money, which, and people will be able to compete with their own money, right? It's going to be a free market, right? So some people will say, hey man, I'm getting paid 11%, I'll pay you 7. Well, hey Buck, that's cool. I'm going to pay you 8. And so free market's going to free market. Yep. Margins will compress. Yep. There will be different rates paid based on different regulatory schemes. Maybe Brazil lets you do it. The US doesn't. So there's going to be like, different rates for where you are in the world. But anyways, the point is, and I've even thought about this, all of the like sort of like neobanks that are operating with Bitcoin and stuff, like it's a very interesting thing to explore. Is this an opportunity to offer an instrument, ideally it one day even interops, if you're, whatever, through Taproot assets or whatever it is, Spark, with the Bitcoin network, but to offer this this stablecoin that gives a yield, and critically, unlike all the other ones, you know exactly where the yield comes from. You know exactly what the risk is. I mean, there's different layers of risk with the company and in MicroStrategy, but like fundamentally the risk is, right, does Bitcoin go up 20% CAGR or not?
Yep. All right. Can we get it's going up forever, Laura? Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. All I can say is capital, credit. And seriously, I mean that as a shout out. Like Saylor's a genius.
He's awesome. Yeah,
he's a genius.